Listen, you need to become the strongest in your family. I'm sure all of us, you included, have had an older cousin who has big broed us, who's always been known as the strongest, but no longer. Because it is time for you to step up and take that mantle and become the strongest in your family. The old generation, they are getting older. And you notice, you see your parents are getting older. The past generation actually, specifically the millennials, because of the time period with everything with the war, and then their parents being completely hard on them, the millennials just wanted to relax and just sort of do nothing, and the Gen Xers. And you notice that shift in culture, where now gym culture is now bigger than ever, and people are now getting fit and getting in shape. Well, the thing is that your parents, while yes, they did see the gym as a good thing, they probably saw it as something like, oh, you go to the garage and just pump in some iron. But no. You nowadays, people, what they are doing is they're doing crazier and crazier shit. And you're going to get left behind unless you start training to become the strongest in your family. And you should dominate your family tree. And actually, I'm going to explain to you how you can dominate by being the strongest and among your cousins. You will be stronger than anyone else in your family. And there's a sort of pride and honor as sort of stepping forward as the sort of golden child of the family, if you're the strongest. Even if they don't think of you that way, it matters what you think and what actually is the truth. Obviously, the most important part is that you need to prioritize fitness. Prioritizing fitness is one of the best things you can do, actually, because if you prioritize fitness, you almost just win by default. So the same way that I like to say that if I'm somewhere, if I argue with someone and they're fat and I'm not, I automatically win the argument because, you're fat. Look at you. And then on top of that, I'm now in shape. And I always thought this way, even back when I was in high school. Then teachers would come at me, yelling at me in my face. It's like, how can you come at me like you're fat and you're yelling at me? Like, what, I've already won. So that joke for the Boondocks, like I'm white. Like, there's no reason. It almost puts you above other people. I'm not saying that you're better, even though in a way you kind of are. Being ripped and in shape and prioritizing fitness, you're automatically just kind of not. You're elevated human in a way. And if you truly actually love having a good physique, if that's what you desire, then once you do get it, you are going to feel a sense of, not entitlement, but almost like you don't have to stoop to that level of other people because you're in shape and they're not. If anything, you should just feel bad for them and then walk away. There's no reason to stress or ruin your day or anything because, you look like a Greek statue. Number one is going to be, you need to prioritize fitness. And the way that you actually prioritize fitness is by, you need to first start thinking like an athlete, then training like one, and then eating like an athlete. So all of these things are completely important to actually becoming an athlete. An athlete, I would say, is defined by someone who prioritizes fitness. So what that means is that you need to make time every day to train. And of course, you should exercise, but no, you need to make it a priority. A priority meaning it is at the top. You can only have one priority, and that should be fitness, where if you get it in, then you're okay for the rest of the day. And you also need an exact schedule to actually structure your day with. But there's a lot of information out there, and it's really complicated. So if you would like to build your perfect week, use the week that I used, which actually was at home, and I didn't use any weights. It was completely free. I didn't have to do anything. Then go in the description down below. There's the Athletic Lifestyle where I explain and walk you through everything on how to just become an athlete and become a fucking unit. So go and start training now because it is becoming summer. Now, number two, training hybrid. So training hybrid is where you take strength training, like getting stronger, and then also endurance training, so like running, speed, stamina, things like that, and then doing them both at the same time. A lot of bodybuilders, what they do is that they train just for strength and aesthetics. And while I actually do emphasize training for aesthetics and not just looking like a boulder, then training for aesthetics, if you do too much of it and go too far in that direction, then what's actually going to happen is that you're not going to be at your physical capabilities like you should be. And you're just going to train to isolate muscles. Like you're going to have a bigger upper body, but not lower body, because you don't really respect the body. The body should be trained all as a whole. And the way to do that is by doing calisthenics. Because calisthenics, like I said, lends itself much better to training the entire body to looking completely aesthetic. That's the reason why most calisthenic athletes look better than bodybuilders, because they're training just to isolate one muscle at a time. But if you are a calisthenics athlete, then you're training the entire body in tandem. Like for instance, if you're doing a pull-up, it's not just training your back, which that's what mainly it is. It's a back exercise, but it's also, it's training your chest. It's also training your arms because all of that are engaged. It also actually trains your core. So you don't have to isolate just abs as much. You should, but a lot of your body is going to be used to working together as a complete whole unit. Now, number 3 is going to be choose your sport. And by sport, I don't mean actually like playing a sport. You don't have to if you don't want to. What I mean is that you should be able to perform some sort of activity for a extended period of time and actually use your stamina and your endurance to a high level. So what that could look like is running, biking. I do a lot of long distance running, but also short distance sprinting. So I'm able to do these things at high intensity. And the thing is, I'm actually on the level of like most athletes, like in terms of runners, even though I don't do it professionally, is because I actually have a sport that I do to actually extend my stamina. Actually, building your stamina is going to increase the amount of workouts you can do. For how long you can do is going to help you in the gym as well as outside of the gym. And then lastly, like I mentioned, is eating like an athlete. None of this matters if you are not good looking at all. And the best way to do that is by eating healthy and cutting out really bad foods. I say only drink water, have a good diet, and really only eat one ingredient foods, which means foods like vegetables, fruit, meats. And when it comes to carbs and grains, you want to do complex carbs because they're actually going to help your gut, which is going to help your performance. Because, eating food is actually much more important than just the taste. It's like fuel in the body. And if you put the right amount of fuel in and the right kind of fuel in, then you're going to have easier workouts. You're going to be able to move faster, stronger, better. And you're just going to have overall top performance. So do all of these things and become the strongest in your family. All these things together, not any one of them is going to work. You have to do all of them in tandem in order to become a complete unit. Being the strongest is actually something that you can take a lot of pride in and be very proud of yourself. So go down to the description down below where I walk you through everything. I record everything that I did from in lockdown, like about 5 years ago, to becoming where I am now. Where I'm just an absolute unit, and I am undoubtedly the strongest in my family, and you need to be the strongest in yours too. Stay flashy.